What if your teams could actually get work done rather than looking for documents, updating records, and dealing with unstructured data silos? Welcome to One Amazing Thing About DevRev. Today we're going to talk with Michael Machado, Corporate Vice President at DevRev, and he's going to be sharing one amazing thing about their platform with us today. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Greg. Well, glad to be here.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing this in action. Before we do, though, why don't you give a little background on yourself and your role at DevRev?
Sounds great. Yeah, as you mentioned, I'm CVP of Product and Brand at DevRev. I've been here since the beginning. We just recently launched our flagship product, Computer, which essentially does exactly what you said. It makes it easier for people to get their work done, collaborate across their teams, introduce this idea of team intelligence where you and your customers get the benefit of conversational AI at your fingertips across your applications, across your services.
Great. Well, yeah, looking forward to taking a look in a second. Before we do, though, why don't you share? What are we looking at today? Who's the audience? Why is it important to them?
Yeah, so we're really going to look at two different demos leveraging the same platform that we've been building. It's our Agent Studio platform built to enable employees within an organization. What DevRev's always really set out to do is transform the way we think about teams operating, whether those be product engineering design teams, go to being relegated to one application experience, or a customer support or sales team sort of having their own siloed data applications. And what we've always built at DevRev is a uniform way to integrate all your data sources in. We formulate a knowledge graph, which brings both short-term and long-term memory to Computer. And Computer is our AI, it's our application experience, and Computer gives you the ability to have this long-term memory of all the unstructured and structured data. So everything from your log files to your documents, integrated very neatly with your CRM and your issue management, project management software. And so you can ask simple questions, get very transformative answers that leverage that entire knowledge graph, and even package up those same Computer experience for your own customers. So I'll show you that paradox of how you use Computer for yourself, and then how you can actually use Computer within your own application as a live chat customer support agent.
Great, love it. Well, yeah, let's take a look. Why don't you share your screen and talk us through it?
All right. So you're in the redwood forest now, and I'm going to open up a Computer within this. And a Computer starts out as a desktop app, as simple as it can possibly be. We wanted to make it really live with you wherever you're working, whether you're working in another application outside of DevRev's ecosystem or even within DevRev itself. Computer's a shortcut away to getting full leverage of its experience. What I'm going to do is actually start from a couple different personas, but just imagine I'm trying to look up account information. This might be because I'm meeting with a customer, or I want to dive into it as a account manager, or even a product manager who just wants to understand more about where we are with a particular account. So with a few types, I'm actually going to type in, give me a summary of the Stripe account. And you'll see right away, the first thing it does is start to look at semantic and syntactic information. In this case, syntactic information is the keyword search, the blue links that we'd all expect. But I'm going to bypass that, use this little yellow arrow, and actually open up more expansive conversational search interface. And you get this thinking and you get this chain of thought reasoning going on right off the bat. It's starting to understand, a summary of the account. It's giving you information that's actually parsing across our knowledge graph, sourcing and citing that information throughout the entire process. And as I scroll down, you kind of see that you get what you'd hope to give you the right information to maybe ask a follow-up question. And so I can dive deeper into particular areas. I can ask, what are the latest opportunities open with Stripe? And again, this is not going to leverage just any one piece of information, any one source data, which is really what MCP gives you, is the ability to call out in these other sources. Our knowledge graph, while we integrate with MCP servers, is actually going to bring all that information in and leverage the entity relationships and the ontology relationships that we derive from those integration sources. And so I'm actually bringing in not only the opportunities here, but I'm also understanding more information. I can go across these. But I'm actually going to switch gears a little bit here and try to get into maybe the tickets and the customer feedback and the meeting notes that I'd want to leverage here. So we know this usually gets sourced from more unstructured things. So I'm going to ask, what features is Stripe most interested in for Q2? So giving you a date range. And what we pride ourselves in is actually bringing in this ability to go beyond knowledge retrieval RAG as it's more systematic, and really think through how do I personalize the results to an individual? How do I understand authorization policies when I'm traversing the knowledge graph? And even how to actually bring in SQL and different parameters that I'm going to use for this search. So now you're actually getting information across. You can see here the key features they're interested in, all kind of date ranged for me, highlighted, very fast, easy to read, easy to concise information for me. And I can not just leverage the internal information. In this case, I want to actually kick it out and ask it to do a web search for me. I don't have to actually toggle on web search or anything like that. I'm just going to command it for recent news and announcements related to Stripe. And we're going to get live feed. So we'll see how this does. But it's going to hopefully look into what it's fetching, what information it's gleaning from the web right now. Maybe how I can even bring that into some of the information that I would actually be able to leverage for a follow up meeting or for a follow up discussion with them. So I've got there we go, some recent announcements. One as most recent as yesterday around their financial performance. I didn't realize they just maybe put out some results, but even getting an idea of how they're investing, strategic shifts they're seeing. Maybe now I want to bring in all this information, internal information, external information. I'm gonna ask it to make a pitch for me. So I want to pitch DevRev search and our computer experience essentially to Stripe. With the info above, and I'll ask it maybe, what do you think I should highlight? And really what I'm hoping to do now is focus on all the aspects that we, highlight within our company as our differentiation, plus what's going on top of mind, what I'm able to, parse out from recent, earnings announcements, news that, going on, all the information that I can really help get leverage from. Uh,
Yeah.
and you see it's actually bringing in statistics, it's bringing in key messaging points from organization. It's even leveraging this idea of this tool consolidation, security integration as being top of mind, points of contacts that I can get leverage from, all within this sort of like one core experience. Now, I think this is great. I think you can imagine this being useful as people integrate their data sources into us, start to bidirectionally sync across these things, even take action. I can even go a little bit further and I can create a new conversation with it and talk to you about like how to even leverage information that comes a little bit more back office. We like to think about product managers as sort of sitting between front and back office, engineers working on new enhancements, product managers working with customers. I play the PM. So I'm going to ask it to tell me a little bit about the latest updates about our enhanced, see if I can spell that right, webhook management feature. Again, we always think about this sort of like yin and yang between syntactic and semantic search, but I kind of skipped over the syntactic and went straight to semantic, leveraging some of our RAG across all of our roadmap priorities, understanding essentially where we're going. But this is what you'd expect. I'm pulling from Jira. I'm even sourcing this information so I can go right into that, exactly where this information is coming from, seeing different issues that are being prioritized. And then the natural way to go this is like, all right, this is a lot of information. But for me as a PM, I'm always thinking about really like what challenges am I facing? What engineering challenges in this case remain to get this into production, get it live for our customers? So I'm going to go back to this sort of challenging question for it, a little bit abstract, and really see how it's able to glean this information from all the conversations that are going on within an organization, all the information that's sort of bespoke to how we operate, even the terms like enhanced webhook management being very personal to our organization. We'll see as it's searching through this information, it's giving you kind of all the steps it's taking. We try to make it as lightweight, as consumer grade of an experience as possible when we launch this. So hopefully you can find it a delightful experience as you're working through it. Quickly coming back now, it's giving me some of the scalability challenges, resource optimizations that I could be looking at, even how I've used this myself within my organization to reallocate resources, to look over and review the last sprint, to prepare for a retro with my team, or even a sprint review as we're getting you ready for our next meeting. So this is kind of how you can imagine computer being leveraged for teams, for different organizations, where you can install a computer within your teams. It comes as a desktop app. It comes as a mobile app. It comes built into your browser. All the enhanced security that you would need to be able to integrate your own personal email into it, all the way to the point of your calendar, all your business applications. We ingest, we bidirectionally sync with those informations. We create that knowledge graph. And then we utilize that, based on, really all of your permissions and authorization policies so that you can actually deploy this to anyone within your organization, from your CEO down to your interns. And what I love about it is you can even package it up for your customers. So the kind of final demo, which I promise won't last long because I know we're running a little short on time, would be actually how you'd imagine this going as a customer. So I'm going to minimize our desktop app. I'll let Greg, you own a company called Maple Software, which I use to transact with my organization. I'm one of your customers, Greg, in this case. So I'm going to switch personas a bit one more time. And just to show you the power of the platform we built, the power of
Yeah.
I'm showing you kind of the end user experience, not maybe how the sausage gets made, in the sense that we have an agent studio where you can go in, you can customize your agent, you can define the skills, the tools that computer has for your organization, and even build computer for your teams. But in this case, I'm going to leverage computer for your customers. So if I click on this computer widget at the bottom here, this is how I would actually talk to you, Greg, if I was a customer of yours and this was your application. In this case, I'm going to send you a message because something's going wrong here. And if I actually minimize this again, I'll show you what was going wrong. I got a bunch of errors coming in the status report.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is the dashboard you give me as a it's a great dashboard, Greg. I like your product a lot. And I'm going to come in
I
and
worked
say,
very hard on it, but yeah.
you know, I don't know if you vibe coded it or not, but it's okay. It gets the job done for me. But I see two reasons. So I'm just going to ask, hey, my two recent transactions are failing. I need help, as any good customer says. I think you see here now. This is where computer has a new challenge, right? Computer's job in this case. Now you get to personalize it, you get to make it your own, but it's actually going through all the information, the logs that it's seeing. Even session replays can be fed into computer, so it can actually understand how your behaviors were right before you kind of started talking to it. All information that it can glean to make a better user experience for yourself. In this case, it's going to come back to me and talk to me about two recent failed transactions, which is great. It actually recognized that through its logs. Um, and even sees that, it doesn't look like I have the ability to transact in the EU currency. So I have the ability to actually now take action. And this is one of the most important things. I think we've seen a lot of agents come out in the last years, and a lot of them are sort of what I'd like to kind of call one hit wonders. They can do one thing like rap or one action very quickly, but they can't really expand. And the last thing I want to do when I'm talking to a support agent is feel like I'm going back to an IVR system. Dial 1 to do this, dial 2 to do this, dial 3 to this. It's like, no, I'm talking to you. I'm having a conversation. If you're going to replace a human with AI, at least make it multifunctional, make it fully capable and fully skilled to do what I hope you can do. In this case, unblock me, right? I've got a pretty simple request here. I want to start transacting. I want to start using Euro. And in this case, I'm actually going to be looking for it to say, okay, these are the available currencies. And just through our AI, just by answering this sort of question of yes or no, I'm able to start transacting in the system, which is super powerful because you got to imagine that most of the time, the worst thing you can do is just have go through another process where it's like, I can give you a knowledge article, but it's not
Yeah.
personalized to me. It doesn't know who I am. It doesn't know what I'm entitled to do, what my tier of I'm on. And it can't do live updates in real time. And so it's actually making an API call here. It's leveraging a lot, I think, of the best of breed of what MCP can do from an API integration perspective, where I don't need a lot of the data, but I am willing to use it from an updates perspective. And computer can read that information, make that call, and even go in and do other things like, if I wanted to make a more complex ask where I wanted to think about when do I want to hand over to a human? When do I want to take it all on my own? In this case, I'll show you, like, if I was to click on view reports here, I'm gonna purposely draw a 503 error for you here. This is usually it happens. It's frustrating. I thought I got everything handled for myself, but Greg, you didn't come through. Your application came.
Oh man.
So I got to go back to you again, and I can say right in this conversation, it's going to understand that I'm going to change context here, and I'm just going to essentially tell it that like trying to generate a pro and download it, but it failed. And in this case, this is where you start to get in the technical support side. And the beauty of sort of our platform is that we can understand, what applications you're integrated in. How do I go from having a conversation with a AI agent to transitioning that to maybe L1, L2 support, all the way down to L3, L4 technical support, and see how it can actually help me. In this case, the conversation has come back to me. It's even converted what was just a kind of a free flowing conversation into this ticket. You can see ticket 7349 right now. Kind of ended the conversation in a very graceful way and handed this off to a human on the other side where they can follow up over email. I get more technical, complex support handled here. So what we really just wanted to do to recap is show you But what it means to sort of get the full leverage of where we think we differentiate the most, which is, in the world of sort of 1,000 agents out there blooming everywhere, what does it mean to build a great user experience that is simplified to having a conversation across mobile, desktop, browser, wherever your users are, whether that be for your customers or for your internal teams? Get an understanding of how to integrate data in a very safe and secure way, be able to bring in sources and site information and converge that information in a fast, reliable way, but also be able to bring this into an experience that feels lightweight, conversational throughout the entire. We want to be able to enable your teams to actually customize computer, whether that be for your internal teams or for your customers, and take action. Because I think that's really where we're going right now with agents. Is agents need to be able to go beyond search and retrieval. But we all retrieve information for a reason. We all start a search for an information. It's to get an answer and then to take action on that answer. And that's where I really think computer starts to differentiate. Computer starts to really give us a platform that stands out. And so I was excited to show it to you. And have a moment to talk about our recent launch. We've got a lot going on. We've got an upcoming conference where we're going to showcase even more and more of what computer is doing for teams and really define what we think team intelligence really means in the AI era. And that's just coming up at the end of October, so a couple weeks from now. And plus a ton that's being announced almost every month now through our website at devrev.ai.
Nice, nice. That's really exciting. And I mean, as a customer, I would love to experience that. The second part of the demo that you showed, but I mean, the first part as well. I mean, I think this is something I live almost day to day as I do work as a consultant and an advisor with companies. And as much as an organization may try to standardize, like, okay, everybody use Jira for this or use Slack for that or whatever, it never actually happens that way, right? It's in email, it's in a million different documents. So I mean, that alone of, yes, the process operational part of me wants to tell everyone to start using the same things, but we know in reality that they're going to use a lot of different things. So being able to do that and actually find the thing that you need, and more importantly, I think, to make sense of all of those things that are fast moving. If this is a fast moving project, you don't have time to compile it all. So yeah, that's really, really amazing to see that.
Yeah, we talk a lot about like sort of the great miniaturization. Every technology we've ever leveraged, I mean, kind of gave us the inspiration to call this thing computer, right? We're like, computers have been getting smaller and smaller and
Right.
smaller, and
Right.
both physically and virtually. And really, we look at it as computers run our applications, right? And this apps versus agents doesn't have to be an either or story. We want to make sure that people feel like they get the best application experience they possibly want or have invested in over the past, 3, 5, 10 years for a lot of organizations. But that doesn't have to deter them from being the best agent experience they need for how they operate as teams. And as you said, we'd love to say we all live in this sort of structured data world and, very are great about capturing information, whether that be a meeting or notes or the opportunity that we're working on or the ticket or enhancement that we got. But the real world is that it's ever evolving. It's unstructured. It's conversations just like this. You and I, Greg, where we're learning from each other. This is the information that runs a business. This is the information that sort of leads to the next project you work on or the next major checkpoint you deliver on. So it's exciting to think about how much information now is at our disposal when we really think about capturing the unstructured side and not just the noting notes and docs, but
Right.
actually the conversations is really like we love to talk.
Well, yeah, we'll put a link to the website in the show notes, and definitely looking forward to seeing more things in progress. And again, I'd like to thank Michael Machado, Corporate Vice President at DevRev, for joining the show. You can learn more about Michael and DevRev by following the links in the show notes.